See, I think what it's become as a Habs fan is I've accepted that Marc Bergevin is not going to get fired. So I look at the way, I try and put myself into what he's thinking. And what he's thinking is that Shea Weber and Carey Price have committed to Marc Bergevin, or he thinks that, even though Shea Weber was just kind of did there. And Carey Price, of course, signed that extension. But you got to think about where he was going to get that. But at the same time, he's still committed 8 years to a market that, if you're a Leafs fan and you see how William Nylander is treated, I want you to really think about what Carey Price has gotten since he was drafted. It's non-comparable. And I look at what Marc Bergevin thinks this team is, and the way I think to survive, you have to think of, yes, what next year is going to be, because it's part of Marc Bergevin. It's like, I think the Athletic guys have a joke of, this is year 2 of his second 5-year plan. And you're right. They will not get. I think there was a TSN Twitter thing that said that Jeff Petrie could easily be the most sought-after defenseman of the trade deadline. And Tomas Tatar could still get you a fantastic price. So if Chris Kreider's injury is as bad as it could be, then the value of Tomas Tatar just goes up, 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 up even more. And of course,
Kreider's playing tonight.
Okay, never mind then. So still, but then you have Tomas Tatar with 45 points in 50 games. And
I'd argue that Tomas Tatar is above at least Tyler Toffoli. If I'm listing out the forwards who are on my trade board, at this point, I'd say you have Chris Kreider, who's done at the end of the year. You have Tomas Tatar, who has this year and next year, and then you have Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah. So I think just the only reason I'm sitting here and I'm telling myself and I'm telling you that they're going to be better next year is because, of course, what this team should have done is 2-3 years ago, whenever it was, is they should have traded Carey Price or let him walk at free agency. They should have traded Shea Weber back in the day, or depending on which alternative timeline you're looking at, and as I was talking to Will Baldwin, is you trade Subban for those good few young pieces that PK could have gotten you back in the day. Right. And I can sit here and tell you they should sell off these pieces. They should sell off Price. Because obviously, if this team and Marc Bergevin were doing things properly, that's what they should have done. But the way Marc Bergevin is seeing it, and we can both agree it is the wrong way to do it, is he is trying to do this rebuild on the fly. And the best way he sees this team going is, it's like Minnesota, that you try and go with Weber and Price the years you have them, at the level they're still at, and you try and just shove in Cole Caulfield and Alex Romanov and Domi and all that. It's not the right way to run a team, and as a fan, am I clearly blind to it and just hoping and cheering that, yeah, but next year, guys, maybe next year is when the Bruins start falling apart and Bergeron falls down. Maybe the Leafs defense continues to take a step back, and which obviously isn't going to happen, and Mitch Marner are going to take another step forward. Tampa are going to finally run into cap hell and run into a wall. It's blind hope as a Habs fan that you kind of need to have, because the team's not making the right decision to finally just sit down and reset, because Marc Bergevin sees what he thinks is an impatient fan base that Habs fans, first of all, I think we would accept a rebuild because we would realize this team is in mediocrity. They are the Minnesota Wild of the East, Alex. So you are completely right. And we have been talking about them the same way because there's just such a disconnect. And I think you can see it now between what the fans really want and what Marc Bergevin thinks they want.